Hi, everybody. This is Crypto Rich, working with you to get rich with crypto, filling our pockets with crypto profits. I have with me Dan Weinberger, the CEO of Morpheus Network. We're going to be doing an update on all the exciting things that are happening in Morpheus Network. And what we're going to be doing in this conversation is we're going to be traveling from Canada to Argentina to parts of Africa and maybe other parts of the world as too that Dan hasn't told me yet. Now, please subscribe, comment, like. If you're watching this on YouTube, come over to BitTube because I post my videos on BitTube first. Follow me on Twitter, CryptoRichYT, and join my Telegram announcements channel. And we should get going. Hey Dan, thank you so much for making yourself available. It's been, I think the last time I spoke to you was in July.
That long, eh?
Yes, that long, and no doubt.
Time flies and you're super busy. And thank you for the introduction. And just to clear the air, with COVID going on, I have not been traveling at all. So
no, we're not. Metaphorically speaking, the conversation in the conversation, we're going to visit Argentina and Africa and Canada, but from the comfort of your chair in Canada and my chair in Britain.
As good as it gets, I guess, nowadays, right? That's simulation. So, yes, thank you for that, Rich. Always great to talk to you. And, for me, it's actually, for yourself as well, obviously, it's the weekend. The week has been absolutely crazy. So I'm glad we finally got some time to sit down and have this conversation.
Yes. Very good. Okay, so look, I know you've got a list of items you want to go through. Should we start near to home? Because apparently there's something happening in Canada, something new that's brewing in Canada.
Yeah, a lot of things happening in Canada. Specifically, I want to talk about our client. I absolutely love this company. Love working with them. Love working with the people at the company. It's with FCL, the Federated Co-op. Obviously, we talked in the past about that food certificate system that we implemented for them, for their suppliers. That's up and running, which is fantastic. But what we're excited about right now, not that I'm not excited about that system as well, is implementing multiple new systems with FCL. So besides that food cert system itself, we're actually implementing a system for their vendor, the vendor side of the company. It's a similar document handling system. Incorporates, say, historical documents and things that they have in their system right now that are completely disjointed right now, as well as incorporating all their SKU information. Every single SKU has one of these entries, includes artworks, ingredients, really a ton of information.
SKU, that's the SKU label. What does that stand for?
Every single product has a SKU on it, right? So it's basically like the barcode number that comes on every single product. So they want to be able to have every product built into their system. But right now, they just don't have that available. They want to find a product and pull up all the ingredients, let someone know from customer service if there's some sort of issue with an ingredient causing an allergy, for example. They don't have that system on hand. They don't have that. They have to research into different files, pull up different documents, check their mainframe to pull up a certain PO. We're implementing it, integrating all that data into one succinct system, making it very easy to pull up all that vendor data. So it's really amazing. And that's actually what we have with the supplier system as well. Before it was food certificates being stored all over the place, being stored as email attachments in different places. And now it's all in that one platform. So there's a lot of similarities in the platforms, which makes it easy for us to implement. But obviously, there's a lot of customization, making it perfect for their vendor system specifically. Aside from that, we have another implementation we're working on right now with them. It's to do with setting up their POs. It's a mission critical emailing system, tracking all their POs going out. Very excited about that as well. And what's great, as you can see with these different systems, that obviously Morpheus can become a vital part of the entire infrastructure for Federated, and constantly. So we implemented that first system in April, and since then, constantly we've had these meetings to go out more systems. We keep on talking about visibility with them and how we're going to get that started. Then we get pushed back with these other implementations. So the endorsements within the company are fantastic, and honestly, I feel so validated that they love the work that we're doing. They had some other amazing software companies quote out the food search project with them. They obviously went with us, and they're extremely happy about that. And I'm even more happy than they are, obviously.
Very good, very good. Okay, so how I hear that is you're working in one area of this company, and FCL is one of the top 50 on the Canadian Stock Exchange, one of the top 50 largest companies in Canada, and you're working with them. You're working in one particular division, and other divisions have seen, hey, wait a minute, this is working really well. We want it.
And you know what? To be honest with FCL, we've only hit the tip of the iceberg, right? Like they do, close to $10 billion a year of revenue. They do oil and gas. They have gas stations. They supply to over 2,000 retail facilities. We haven't touched those facilities, right? So there's a ton of work to do with them. And these first few projects, obviously amazing. Having a client that's happy, a paying client that's happy makes it even better. So yeah, we can't be happier about our relationship with FCL. And I'd like to thank specifically Ray Garreau, one of the supply chain managers with FCL, and he's been a huge champion within the FCL company for us.
Okay, wow. Okay, good. Very good. All right. Where would you like to take us next in the world?
Well, I still keep us in Canada just because, FCL and our success with them has allowed us to put out these extra proposals with some awesome other companies in the country, right? So another massive food supplier, I'd say about the same size as FCL. We've gone through all these steps, meeting with them over half a dozen times now. We obviously have the NDAs in place. We have some data in place. And we just had some amazing meetings this past week. We put a proposal in front of them yesterday, so I'll keep everyone updated how that's going to go. Regardless about this specific proposal, so many different systems that they need as well. So I have a great feeling that we're definitely going to have business with another major food supplier in Canada very, very soon. Taking us down into the U.S., this is an auto parts manufacturer, absolutely massive. They're in the U.S. is the office I was speaking to, but they're actually all around the world. They actually have 50,000 open purchase orders at one time. What's great about this company is that they've actually integrated with all their suppliers. 96% of the suppliers use EDI, transmitting that information to them seamlessly, and they think that works actually perfectly for them right now. Their issues with that 4%. So 4% of 50,000 invoices, 50,000 POs. They have 2,000 open POs that are done completely manually right now. So right now we're going through the steps.
How come? They've got the 96% automated, but why not this 4%? How come that's not automated?
You know what? Electronic data interchange has been around for over 50 years. It is an old technology, but a lot of companies have chosen never to implement EDI. So 96% are using EDI, allowing that data to come in seamlessly. But you can't force every company you work with to use the same technology you're using. So they're sending in their orders in a manual fashion. Let's say they send a PO, it's a PDF that's spit out of their ERP, for example, and it's not directly integrated to their system unless they go with EDI, which they're not moving towards for these 4%. In a sense, though, EDI being over 50 years old, the technology that we're using is a lot newer. So this 4%, even though they're doing it in a manual sense right now, the technology that we're looking to implement is going to be moved over from EDI in the future. So they actually get a head start on what they're going to have to transition to in the future with taking care of this 4%, turning manual into automated.
Okay, but if these 4% of these companies haven't taken on EDI, then what makes you think that they would take on the Morpheus Network platform?
That once again, Rich, this is what makes the Morpheus Network middleware solution so easy to implement. They don't have to. They continue transmitting the information exactly how they're doing it. If it's spitting out from their ERP, if they're sending in even a simple text file or JSON, whatever they're sending in, we can pull out that data, implement it into the system to actually translate it into the form that's necessary for the receiver on the other end, the main hub company. So it's actually middleware transmitting the data as needed. The companies don't have to change anything they're doing. It's the company receiving the data that receives it in the proper fashion.
That's it. Okay. To me, that just sounds, I know you said this before. To me, that just sounds amazing. It just sounds amazing. And a clear advance on EDI and definitely on what they were using before. Okay.
Yeah,
so I get it now.
They're loving EDI right now, which is great. It's more so like when I say manually entered, they're like copying and pasting, rekeying into, let's say, Excel, rekeying out of, let's say, a notepad. It's ridiculous the manual steps they take, and it obviously slows down the entire business, right? So having an automated system in place, getting rid of all the manual steps, obviously it's a natural progression.
Right, because that would save a lot in terms of time, in terms of money. Staff resources can be allocated elsewhere. The order processing happens a whole lot quicker. Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. And are we at the stage where you can name that company publicly, or is that further down the line? How far advanced is this conversation?
I would do that. And to be honest, we put together a very nice press release for that as well. We'll get all that together. There's actually it's funny you mentioned that because taking our tour through the globe over here. Next company does a ton of business in LATAM. This is a signed paying client as well. And to be honest, we wanted to announce this client a little while back. Their CEO has been very hard at work, which is fantastic. But we just wanted to get that final quote from him as well to finish off the PR. What's actually progressed is that his hard work actually paid off, and he's actually signed one of the 100 largest companies in the world to handle their logistics. So they're our paying client for amazing business they're doing now. They handle over 100 containers a month as is. Now they've signed a company which is going to dramatically increase their business, therefore dramatically increase the amount of business that we do with them as well. So we're very excited about that as an announcement that we wanted to push a little while back, a couple weeks ago, but now actually it's turned into a little bit of a larger announcement. And regardless, they're a signed paying client, so we're enjoying working with them, and everything's going really well in that direction. We will announce that one very shortly as well. We're at that stage to announce it. There's nothing holding that back, as opposed to just getting out there and timing at the right time. So.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you. All right, now where should we go next?
You know what? I think might as well head down to Argentina.
A little bit for some steak. To the Pampas for some steak, Argentinian steak, please.
You got it. Funny you mentioned that. It's Jorge Marcos is a close contact of ours. He's the CEO of VitelCan. I actually think I have VitelCan on the shirt I'm wearing over here. And one of the things that we love talking about business. We're talking various technologies, supply chain, but we both have a huge love for food as well. So every once in a while, Jorge will send me a picture of what he's eating, whether it's some sort of Argentinian paella dish. He loves Spanish paella. He's originally from Spain. So, and you mentioned meats and all that. So we show each other pictures of steaks and so on and so forth. So definitely have that extra, personal bond that I love to have with him. And one thing Jorge's been doing is he's been working so hard with the government down in Argentina. Some of the largest companies in the world, with this phytosanitary system. Basically, what the end goal of this is to have it so we're actually producing the platform necessary for these companies to transmit their data in order for them to bring in any chemical products. So right now we're running pilots with some of the largest companies in the entire world. I got to say that is, in my mind, one of the largest projects that we've ever looked at. And the fact that it's progressed this far, honestly, as a startup company, I'm over the moon about that project in particular. And to be honest, I've had some restrictions with travel, obviously with COVID and family health issues, but I will definitely be heading down to Argentina, giving Jorge a big hug when it socially permits, and discussing, this project specifically. And I'd love to give more details about it as soon as everything is ready for everyone to know. It's one of the largest projects, in my opinion, in the entire crypto space. So very excited about this phytosanitary system for the Argentinian government, working with SENASA. And once again, in Argentina, there's other companies that are involved, absolutely massive. We're talking about the Bayers. We're talking about YPF, the largest government-owned company in the entire country. So it's really exciting what we're doing down there. And I just have to send a personal thank you to Jorge Marcos. I know we talk every single day, but when you have regular conversations every single day, you don't necessarily thank each other for the amazing work they're doing. So Jorge, if you're watching this, thank you, sir. You're doing an amazing job, and I can't respect you more for that. So.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Now, I know that Morpheus Network, because FCL is a pretty big company in Canada. There's another company that you mentioned that's on a par with FCL. They work in Argentina. Big companies are involved. Is Morpheus Network sufficiently resourced to be able to deal with this? Because you're just a teeny weeny little blockchain startup.
We are. I don't like the term teeny weeny, but
I do mean it in jest, right? Not to belittle or anything. But it's you're a small startup. You're not.
Exactly. Let me comment on that. So when it comes to, let's say I work in Argentina specifically, I don't even speak Spanish. Okay. So for me to say I'm going to handle every aspect of that project, it's just not feasible, right? We're lucky enough to have amazing partners like Polaris Network. Jorge Marcos, who's the founder of Polaris Network, he's the CEO of VitelCan. He also started a Polaris Network technology company in Argentina in order to handle these implementations. So you're right. If it was just us, teeny weeny Morpheus Network on its own, we wouldn't be able to handle it. But Morpheus Network actually spaces out all around the world. We have partners obviously working in Africa, partners working across Canada. That's not just Morpheus itself. So it's not just us, and you hit the nail on the head with that. We would not be able to handle these projects globally if it wasn't specifically for our partners and the great help we have. So when it comes to John Trask and Blockchain Guru, their wings actually spread across Canada, but also into Africa. Want to talk a little bit about those projects that we wouldn't even be able to touch if it wasn't for John Trask and his team and Blockchain Guru. So we're working actually directly with a couple government bodies. We put out some information about this. It was a seed traceability system, an agro traceability system for government in Africa. We have some progression as well, some amazing systems, coffee traceability system in Africa as well for government, as well as an animal management system as well. And that's actually talking to a couple different countries in the region. And once again, as you mentioned, we would not be able to do that if it wasn't for our partners. And when it comes to Africa itself, John has been there a few times. John Trask has been there, and he has to go back. I know it's COVID and all that's a little more difficult to travel, but he has partners. We have partners in Africa that aren't directly his company. It's not, let's say, Blockchain Guru itself. We have more partners in Africa as well, handling direct connections with the government bodies. So it really is about partnerships and working well with others. And I got to say, a lot of our dealings with these partners, with Jorge, with John, we're not greedy. Myself and Noam, the founders of this project, we're looking to make partnerships and looking to work with these companies for decades. We want relationships. So we're not looking to make a killing off our initial deal. So I think that they see that we're in it for the long run. They're in it for the long run as well. And we're very excited about the technology we can provide. And with their network connections, our technology, and working together, really doing something special. And I think they all see that. So.
Okay. All right. So then you very neatly segued, taking us across the Atlantic.
There you
to
go,
Africa, yeah. Right? Now, these governments, can you mention any of these governments? Can you mention the size?
I'd want the contracts to be completed, signed, and sealed, I guess, in a sense, before we ourselves talk about it. You can definitely go to the Blockchain Guru's site, and they talk a little bit about these projects. You actually get a ton of great detail about a couple of different projects we put out there with Blockchain Guru. There's some great content on the Blockchain Guru website. That's Morpheus Network content as well. So maybe yourself, Crypto Rich, you haven't had a chance. You probably heard of Blockchain Guru and heard us talking about Vital Cannon and Jorge Marcos. But they actually put out some amazing content as well. And if you go on the Blockchain Guru website, I urge people to take a look. They can see a huge presentation we put out there for an African nation. And we're very excited about that. And once everything's said and sealed, we'll get a ton more details out there for you guys.
So. Okay. All right. Well, I'll have the links in the description below to Blockchain Guru. Now, I can understand what you mean by by sourcing coffee, like tracking where it goes and how it moves and the quality of it. What do you mean by animal management?
Mm-hmm. Interesting that you mentioned that. It's basically, there's a ton of different ways to tag and track animals, right? Right now, the simple way to think about it is putting a tag, let's say, on an animal's ear and having some sort of like verifiable identifier on that tag itself. They've had a lot of issues in Africa with that, with these tags being taken off, being removed, and not knowing where the animals come from, right? So this new technology, actually, this is not a Morpheus Network technology, but we're looking to integrate it into our platform itself. It's actually using the DNA of the animals themselves to track the animal throughout their entire life cycle. Where, right at the end of that life cycle, where, when I say life cycle, I mean as a product, let's say a packaged piece of beef, where the DNA of that beef can be traced back to the original slaughterhouse, the original veterinary certificates, and pulling all that data together. So you're actually using the DNA to actually track the animal's life cycle. So it's, basically tracking the animals where they come from is a huge deal nowadays. You want to know the whole history of those animals as well. It's not so different than, you mentioned coffee management. You want to know where the coffee comes from. If it's from, Kona or Africa, wherever it's from, you also want to know where your animals come from, right? You want to know how they're treated. Is it from, factory farming, or is it organic, or how are these animals treated, right? So there's a lot of data out there that right now is not visible. And there's systems being implemented by a ton of different companies, and we're obviously one of those companies, and very excited to be working with governments in order to put that on a large scale level, for use. So.
Wow. Okay. That is just fascinating. And then what I can also hear is how the solution that Morpheus Network provides filters out into all sorts of industries. I remember talking to you about hardware suppliers in China in the past, right? But now we're talking about coffee companies and animal management, and there's the luxury goods, all sorts of stuff.
Certificates, whether it's a vendors, suppliers, every end of it. Yeah, most definitely. It lends itself to many different verticals. I don't use the term blockchain agnostic, so we connect to various blockchains. We're also vertical agnostic. I wouldn't say you hold us to one vertical, this is what we do. I'm not going to lie that, someone said where we had the most success. I would say that the most success we've had is in food and beverage, right? And agro. But at the same time, our product lends itself really well to the healthcare industry, as we've talked about. But I believe you had a whole discussion with Dean about it as well, a couple of discussions. Lends itself extremely well, obviously, to machinery, equipment, as we talked about, from shipments in China, shipments to the United States as well. This auto parts manufacturer, once again, it's more about their documentation and their POs, but at the same time, it does lend itself to those industries as well. So yeah, I agree. It's in a sense, there's so many companies out there to talk to that it's, like a kid in a candy store. You can walk around and talk to any company, figure out what their operations are. And if they're optimized fully, then good for them. I'll tell them that we've no value add for them. But honestly, to have these conversations, get deep down into the weeds of what they're doing, you always find functionality they can definitely take advantage of. So.
Wow. Okay. All right. So anything else you want to let us know about Africa?
Not about Africa specifically. Once again, I did say a big thank you to Jorge Marcos. I also want to thank John Trask and his team. Ramina specifically has been amazing. Ryan, all of them have been awesome. Nabil. So if you guys are watching this, thank you guys for working so hard. I find it really flattering that I know I'm going to go out there every day and bust my ass and get things done. When I see people doing it around us, they feel that same passion that I have. I absolutely love it. It just motivates me even more to keep on going. And honestly, it's not even, I never have a single day where I'm like, oh, that's not what I'd rather be doing this. This is all I'd rather be doing is this stuff, right? So, when I don't do this stuff, I'm itchy to come back to it and keep on growing it out. And knowing myself, we're big sports fans actually, and we love basketball and baseball. So a lot of our sort of like discussions with the team try to use analogies from sports. And at first, I think that when you're getting into say me and Noah as the founders, first two people at the company, we both felt like we had to be the manager and the all-star, or the Michael Jordan, the Phil Jackson, and every single player on the court. That was all of us. Now we've realized our roles as general managers, our roles as let's say even a point guard at times. And if you need to be, let's say, that rebounder under the net, become that Dennis Rodman, diving out into the stands if you need to, and that's what you do. But it's about supporting your team. And not taking on that, thinking that you have to take on that role as Michael Jordan, taking all the shots or anything like that. We're lucky enough to have a team of Michael Jordans, and there's no reason for us to try to be that Michael Jordan as well. When it comes to Brian and Carl, both Carls and Ben, we do have a great team, and we do want to get the best out of them. And turning all of them to Michael Jordans, that's fine as long as we're basically Phil Jackson, Jerry Krause, whoever we are, watching that happen. So I watched The Last Dance recently, so I apologize.
All right. I have to admit, a lot of the basketball references are lost on me in the UK.
Sorry.
Right? No problem. Most of the viewers are from the US anyway. So, and every Briton.
I probably would be able to do a soccer version of that. I don't know.
That's right. And most viewers in the UK, I think, will have heard of Michael Jordan at least. He was really good, apparently. He was all right.
It was more about his drive. He wasn't the most athletic. He was athletic. He was a super creature like that as well. But his motivation and drive is what really pushed him.
He practiced loads. Okay. All right. So anything else you want to let us know? Any other country you want us to visit in this conversation?
You know what? We won't visit any other countries. I think we've covered a lot of different places around the world. We do have work in many other places as well, which is fantastic. A couple things I did want to mention. One thing we're going to be pushing out that people still working on is an SDK, allowing other companies to build modules for specific functionalities for their processes. That's very exciting. It's basically like when Apple allowed people to create apps for the App Store, and it just grew astronomically, right? So that's the stage we're at right now. We're going to be pushing that out very shortly as well. So I'm very excited about that. We'll put out a whole press release on that and some more information on that as well. And we're actually currently working with our first company in Argentina to have that SDK working right. So, and aside from that, one other thing I wanted to mention, because you didn't mention anything else I wanted to talk about, is actually the utility token holders themselves. We have something very exciting in store for them. Basically, what it is, it's becoming liquidity providers for the platform, connecting to the platform itself. So we're actually, notarizing the transactions of our clients based on that utility token, and how that integration is going to take place, and how you guys are becoming those liquidity providers for our amazing clients, like the VTEL cans, like the FCLs, and so on and so forth. So very excited about that. And within the next few weeks, we'll have some more information on that. And I know the token holders will absolutely love it. So.
Great. We look forward to hearing from that. And the thing, listening to you, that strikes me is, you could have I could do a video. I could do a video where I interview somebody at FCL about the work that they're doing, right, with you, and then somebody with this other company when they're ready to go with the public, and Jorge in Argentina about what they're doing and what's growing there, right, and John Strass and what's happening in the different African nations, and then what's happening here, right. And I'm not saying I'm going to do that.
You should have time, because every one of these guys, like, especially Jorge and John, you got to spend at least an hour and a half, because they have so much information. They can keep on going.
Yeah, there's so much depth and richness to what you're developing, and how it's building and building and building and building and building. And I think we're just at the beginning because you're still laying the foundation.
100%, 100%. And that's, when we're talking about these projects with FCL, it's only this year that we integrated the first system. So right now they're getting their suppliers flowing. We're getting more systems integrated. The transaction volume will increase. Right now the transaction volume is just at the beginning. It's not going to get lower. It's only going to get higher, right? So I'm very excited about what we're building. And you mentioned the richness of the different projects and the various global regions and all that. Once again, I don't take any credit for that stuff whatsoever. It is all about our partners, our employees, the contractors that we work with. We're so lucky to have such talented people all around us, and a ton of respect goes to our developers as well to keep up to all these projects. We'll say to them, we have a new project with this company and they need this functionality done. Our developers never say, okay, we're very busy. They tackle it. They do it. If they have to work late or work early, whatever it is, our developers have been all over it. Swapnil, Pradnesh, Vishal, the team has been just working overtime. And once again, I can't be thankful enough. And I don't take credit for that stuff. That's them. That's them working overtime. I don't tell them to do that. They can say, listen, it's after hours. I don't want to do it. It's after hours. They have kids. They have families. I get it. But at the same time, they do it. And, I'm flattered. So I'll keep on doing it for them as well, anytime, of course.
And listen, Dan, thank you so much. It's just a treat for me having these conversations with you. And I can completely get that they would do that because it's just inspiring being with a project like Morpheus Network that's growing and developing and everything's going in the right direction and laying the foundation using this incredibly exciting new innovative technology. Mm-hmm. Blockchain being built for the world. So is there anything else you want to say before we finish up? Once again, it's kind of reiterating what I've said. I am so excited about what we're building. I kind of got into the space, seeing the sort of functionality of blockchain from the supply chain perspective and being able to notarize, validate all the supply chain processes, pushing ahead this token utility. It's alive. It's something that we envisioned from the beginning, from close to 3 years ago now. And it's something that's functioning right in front of us. I am so excited about it, Rich. And the growth that I'm seeing in front of us as well, it's just amazing. So I'm going to keep on letting this happen and keep on dishing out those passes and putting the right players on the court as I need to, and loving every single day and having these amazing conversations with you, talking with these various clients, and just having a great time along the way. Dan, listen, thank you so much. Now, many, many exciting things to come with this project. And I thank you, Dan, for taking the time to talk to me. And if you're watching and you're not familiar with Morpheus Network, go check it out. I'll have the links in the description below. Do your own due diligence. Go join the Telegram group. Ask questions. If you have any comments or questions, put them in the description below. And between now and when I see you next, my Dan's t-shirt. Please keep filling your pockets with crypto profits. This is Crypto Rich and Crypto Dan signing out. All the best. Bye-bye.
Have a great day, guys.